Hello, how are you?
How you doing? I'm good.
I'm alright. How's the quarantine in London?
It's okay. It's fine. It's is what it is. What about you? Where are you?
I'm actually in Athens right now,
Okay, cool.
in Greece. Yeah, I go to Bath at uni. That's like
Okay, so
University of Bath. But yeah, I'm back home. Um, but yeah, is it as bad as it seems? Because from here, like we're out of quarantine right now. We're not back to normal, but we're okay-ish. Well, you
okay.
guys are a
I,
bit.
personally, I'm all right because I'm just making music every day,
hmm
really. Like it's cool for me, but I mean, it's long not being able to see your friends and like I think it's
Yeah,
the freedom of like being able to go out if you want, But
of course, yeah.
all right, it's all right, it's fine.
Do you want to introduce yourself to anyone watching who hasn't heard of you?
Yes. Hi. How you doing? Um, my name is Santino Le Saint. I am an artist and I make music from South London.
Okay, fair enough. You just released your mixtape Rage of Angels like 2 weeks before this whole quarantine situation blew up. Do you wanna tell me a little bit more about it? It's one of my favorite R&B albums right now. I'm not even joking. I really like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sick. So originally I got the name from a book that I actually kept seeing at my grandma's house for like 2 years. So I had the name like a long time before I had the project.
Mhm.
Um, and the songs kind of came. The reason I called it a mixtape, is the songs kind of came over a period of like a year. Like I didn't make them all at one time,
Mhm.
but because of the type of stuff I write about and it all being like guitar led, they all work together. So
Mhm.
every single song has like a guitar as the main instrument in the song, and it's something that obviously like is really close to me, and I wanted to push because that's kind of like my background in a way,
Mhm.
playing guitar and that type
Definitely.
of stuff.
What's your favorite track off of it and why?
Um, such a hard question. I think I think my favorite track is Unholy
Mhm.
because it was one of the ones I really enjoyed making, and I enjoyed playing the guitar on
Mhm.
it. And yeah, I just think it's one of my favorites. I don't know why. I
I
find it
think
really hard to choose, actually.
I think it's one of my favorites too. Not gonna lie.
Good.
How would you describe your sound to anyone who hasn't listened to any of your songs before?
I would describe it by saying, and I always find this mad hard. Like,
Mhm.
I would probably say it's like R&B rock.
Uh
I
huh.
think is the way to do it, but it's not like rock in the sense of like people see rock and they think stuff is like really heavy and crazy and
Mhm.
loud, but it's not like that. And I'd say yeah, it's R&B rock with like hip hop energy,
Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
always going to be R&B because my voice just sounds like that.
Yeah, 100%.
I go away from it, yeah.
Um,
How would you describe it?
um, I would say sad boy R&B with like some Arctic Monkeys influence.
Yeah, yeah, cool. You wouldn't be wrong. Yeah.
I saw that tweet that you shared. Someone needs to give Santino Le Saint some happy
Yeah, with some
juice.
happy juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want that shit. Not at all. I do not want happy juice.
How would you say that the release of the mixtape has been affected by the current situation? Any good or bad?
Um, I think it's cool. Like, so I put it out. I actually put it out like in January. Wait,
Oh,
20. Yeah, I put it out at the beginning of 2020. Wait, what month are we in?
we're in May.
In May. Yeah, I put it out in like February, I think, or maybe
I think it was
March.
the end of March. I checked. Anyway.
Yeah, I can't even remember. Yeah, I put it out sometime, but most of like most of the feedback and all of that stuff, and like the reception was really good at the
Mhm.
beginning, which was before the kind of official
Yeah.
quarantine. Um, and obviously now we're in quarantine. I think it's cool because like the numbers are doing well and people are still continuing to share it and stuff. And like I've got some videos that I haven't released
Yeah.
yet, which I'm releasing
Oh, that's
soon, which I
dope.
shot before all of this. And yeah, yeah, yeah. And I actually shot a video with my like housemate on the way to the shop, which I'm gonna release as well as like a kind of quarantine video. It's really weird,
That's
but
cool.
yeah. So I've got loads of stuff coming out like past it, and yeah, it hasn't stopped anything for me. It hasn't stopped much.
No, that's great. But I guess the one negative thing I would say is that we don't get to like get a tour or something. At least
Yeah,
now.
I had some shows lined up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's really annoying. Like I
Um.
was, you know, Sweetie.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was supporting her shows in London
That's
like next week.
That's dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now I can't do it, so that's annoying.
That's sad.
Yeah.
So would you say that your creativity and like creative process have been, affected positively, or just being the same that you've always been?
I think it's definitely been affected positively because it's given me a lot more time to like, you know, whereas you have 5 hours in a day to make a song,
Mhm.
it's like you have to make a song.
Yeah.
Now it's like I have unlimited hours and unlimited days, and it's like I can just spend a day listening to one band if I want to
Yeah.
listen to one band, and like just making drums or something. You know what I mean? Because I have all the time in the world. So really, it's been positive.
Mhm.
Obviously, you still get the days where you're looking for inspiration and all of that, but that's normal.
Mhm. That's great. And as I
Yeah.
said, like that sad boy vibe, like obviously, I hope you're well. I really do. But I'm also hoping that you're like channeling all that energy, like that we're experiencing now, into music. Cause yeah.
Yeah,
What would you say
I've
that?
never.
Yeah.
Girl, no, I was just saying I've never found it hard to be a sad boy. No matter what's happening, like, I can always
What
come up
would
with some
you
sad
say
lyrics.
typically like inspires you?
I think I think I just really like sad stuff,
Yeah.
like dark romantic type
Mhm.
stuff. You know what I mean? I just like it like in films and stuff. I love classic films that are like that. Like I love sci-fi films. Like obviously a lot of real world issues
Yeah.
and things were going on in my life, which I talk about in my music as
Mhm.
well. Like it's all real feelings and emotions. But as I've explained to like people before, it's like it's not good enough to just like go through a breakup and then write about it. It's like you have to dramatize things. You have to
Mhm.
make it cohesive, and you have to think about it in a way that you know can relate to people.
Yeah.
And I just
100%.
like doing it. So, yeah,
Yeah. No, that definitely
yeah,
shows.
yeah.
So what's your musical background like, and what musicians do you say have had the biggest influence in your music?
Um, I would say that with my influences, it's really hard because I grew up listening to a lot of rock music, like out of my own
Hmm.
choice, like people like Nirvana, Jimi
Yeah.
Hendrix, like Guns N' Roses, but also a lot of emo stuff like Bullet for My
Yeah.
Valentine and like stuff like that. Like I love it. Like I still listen to it now. Linkin Park are like one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yeah.
But I also grew up listening to a lot of like soul stuff and old soul stuff,
Hmm.
like Marvin Gaye and Al Green.
Yeah.
And I think that probably had like an influence on me just kind of listening to music for the first time.
Yeah.
But I also grew up like obviously my dad, so
Hmm.
my dad makes music and he's
Yeah.
always, you know, made music around me. And I think because he plays instruments and sings and stuff, that had a big impact on me, you know?
Yeah. I was gonna say that. How was it growing up around that? Your dad being
Yeah,
a musician.
it was cool, I guess. I mean, it got me where I
Yeah.
am now.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's always been, I've always been able to like make stuff whenever I wanted and get help with it, but
Hmm.
also have my own space. And I think really like no matter what I did, I'd always end up making music just because
Hmm.
it was like always around me, you know?
When did you decide that it's what you wanted to do? Because you're like 22, so it
Yeah.
should have been years ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I've been singing and playing guitar and piano since I was like 11, 12. Singing before that, but like
Mhm.
playing and stuff and writing. And I used to do sports, and I wanted to take sports seriously, and I like used to do loads of other stuff. But no matter what happened, I always did music. Like
Mhm.
music was the only constant through my
Mhm.
whole life. So it got to the point where I was in sixth form college when I was 16,
Mhm.
and I released like my first cover on
Yeah.
SoundCloud just because I was like, whatever, I might as well do it, fun. And it got like a really good reception, like nothing crazy, but like everyone listened to it
Mhm.
in my, you know, my circle, my school or whatever. So after that, I was like, well, I'm just gonna put music out and do some gigs and stuff and see what happens.
That's dope. I'm really glad you did, and I can really relate to the whole like constant thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, what are you currently listening to? Do you have a quarantine playlist? Any music that people have
I
played
do.
lately?
Wait, I'm gonna check it
Okay.
actually this second. But I'm actually working on my like next album at the
Mhm.
moment. And I'm like kind of going back through all of my influences and a lot of like guitarists and stuff and like putting playlists together of it. So at the moment, it's a lot of like 2000s and 90s
Mm-hmm.
rock, like Kings of Leon and Arctic Monkeys and
Yes.
like loads of people, like Oasis, crazy, like loads of stuff. But my other playlist, which is like my normal playlist,
Mm-hmm.
um, actually kind of has the same things on it. But like there's a lot of Brent Fayez and Post Malone and
Yes.
Joji and Doja Cat is sick.
Yeah, definitely. I like Doja Cat. And I would say, like in terms of style, I guess I can see some like Brent Fayez and The Weeknd like influences in what you're putting out, and I really like that. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so you're talking
Thanks.
about artists. You also recently dropped the remix to Maria Don't Call Me with Mariah.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
was the process of making that, and who else would you most want to collaborate with in the future?
Well, the process was easy, really. Like, I actually, I think Mariah's mum messaged her because her mum found my music and she was like, "Oh, you got to listen to this guy or whatever." So she DM'd me like 6 months ago, maybe 8 months ago. Just like, "Oh, I like your music. We need to make some stuff together. Like, I want to make some stuff in English or whatever." And then one day, honestly, randomly, I'm just like at the studio about to go home with like one of my managers, and she messages me like, "Yo, I'm in London for one night, and we have to make the song." And then I was like, "Okay, cool." So
That's
she just came
dope.
to she came to Waterloo or whatever. Met her at Waterloo. We got some food, went to the studio, made the song. She like went to the hotel and flew a couple hours
That's
after.
amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like it's an iconic song on its own. So now, like, I feel like it does add a lot to it. Given her name
Yeah.
as well, is like it's a good combination.
That's that's also why I had to do it
Yeah.
because I'm like I'm not I wouldn't say I'm picky about features, but
Hmm.
like everything has to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And it was perfect. It was more than perfect. It like
Yeah.
had to be done. There was no way I couldn't.
Yeah.
So,
Um.
yeah.
So yeah, who else would you want to collaborate with?
I find this question so hard because like the two people I really want to
Hmm.
collaborate with are dead. So that's XXX and Lil Peep. Like I
Yeah.
really want to collaborate with them. Really,
Yeah.
like
Sad Boys
they're like
Unite.
yeah, man. Literally, I love them so much. But apart from that, obviously, people like The Weeknd would be
Yeah.
cool, but it's a bit easy. You know what I mean? It's a bit obvious.
Yeah.
Like I think Brent Fayez and Post Malone would be sick. Joji would also be hard.
Yes. He's really good.
Yeah, Jaden Smith,
Yes.
that'd
Yeah.
be cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love
That's
all
what
of
I think.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say is the biggest struggle, like, as a musician right now, both in quarantine and like in general?
Well, I think something in which affects quarantine is staying inspired, and I think that's why it's important for especially artists like me
Mm-hmm.
to like stay practicing and stay researching into other elements
Mm-hmm.
of music because I think you can obviously if you're just in your house every day you
Yeah.
can not find inspiration. You know what I mean? You're just doing the same things and it's quite mundane. Um, but I think in general, like imagining we weren't in quarantine, I'd say just like the fact that everyone's doing it and everyone's doing everything. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's actually really hard to do something new. And I think that people just have to be true to themselves and make what they make and
Mm-hmm.
make it to the best of their ability.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with that. And I guess you can take this time to like reflect in what you're doing and how you can like kind of defend yourself. Um,
yeah, yeah,
and obviously like you've come so far, I think, personally, been following you for a while. What would
yeah.
you say is the biggest like moment that you've had so far in your career?
Um, hmm.
It's still early, but you know, you
Yeah, yeah. I think it was cool for like the Maria video to hit over 1 million and
yeah,
whatever, and the streams to do really well. Like that was cool. That was like, oh, like I'm a proper
yeah,
artist now. You
yeah.
know what I mean? It's like a real thing. But the coolest thing to happen, I don't even know.
You don't even know.
I'm always like I'm the type of person who's always like, you know, if I sell out a show,
Hmm.
I sold out a show in London for like
Yeah,
with like 500
that
people,
that's
which is.
cool in itself. Yeah,
But as soon as I did it, I'm like, well, I just want to do the next one and
yeah,
do 10 times more, and then
definitely.
10 times more, and then 10 times more. So
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna come back to this in a few months, years, and then we'll see. Um, yeah, tell me a little bit more about Cloud X and how that started and what it represents.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
Cloud X is basically my. It's kind of like a label, but it's not really. Like,
Mhm.
I've always had not issues with labels, but like I think because of what I'm doing is like relatively out there, like kind of
Mhm.
different, a lot of guitars and
Yeah.
stuff. Even though I don't mean different in a way where it's hard to understand, you know what I mean? But just like new, it sounds
Yeah.
new or fresh or whatever. Um, I think labels have always found it hard to maybe market me, which I find crazy because I don't think it's that difficult at
No.
all.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like
No.
maybe it's because it's me. Like, yeah.
I
Also,
I studied marketing. Like, no, that's not true.
that's what I mean. Like, I'm like, also, it's like the streams are there, the social media account is fine, the music is good, and I sold the show. So sometimes when it gets to label stuff, I'm like, oh, but you still don't want to give me any money.
Yeah.
Fine, cool. So literally, like, me and my managers kind of being Cloud X is what
Mhm.
was a response to that. It was like, well, we've done all these things. I have a fan base, and I have made certain amount of music which people like and videos that people respond to, but if no one's picking up, then we're just going to do it all ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's basically a group of us that do everything. Like my two managers also write music at times. They like direct videos. Like there's some other people going on who like are video camera guys and like graphic
Yeah.
designers and all of that. So it's kind of like just an art collective, really.
Yeah, no, I think that whole like collective situation is something that's starting to like happen a lot, I feel. Um
Yeah,
and yeah, no, I definitely totally get it. I think
yeah.
did you play in the Scotch of St. James with Brown Sugar?
I did.
Yes. Okay, I remember correctly. I remember seeing that. Yeah, they're Greek. I think that's how I found you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was actually
Yeah.
there's this Greek rapper. His name's Kareem Koloko. I don't know if you guys met if he was in that show or not, because he usually does
Yeah.
Brown Sugar in Greece, and
Okay.
they have like their own collective, 88 Kids. So maybe there's
Okay.
like a
Sick.
Greek collab there. Look into
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah. That could be sick. No, I'm always down, man. I
Yeah,
think people are doing the collective thing so much nowadays just because, like, you can as well.
yeah,
The fact that I can walk to the shop and actually shoot a video and
yeah,
just release it is like crazy. You know what I mean? And
exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
So with a remix, the video clip for Unholy, and even like I really like the Colors performance that you did recently.
but yeah,
Uh,
like,
what comes next, if you're allowed to say? I mean, you're allowed to
yes,
say you're your own,
yeah, I can
label.
say whatever.
So
Well, so I've got two videos coming out for two more songs on the project on Rage of Angels, which are it's going to be a video to Say Less and a video to
yes.
Loaded, I think, which should be sick. And then I have a song that I performed like at my headline show, and I perform a lot that people ask me about loads called
Hmm.
Cigarettes and Alcohol
Okay,
that I'm going to release soon.
that's dope. Can't wait.
Yeah.
And I guess
So
my last question is, what's the first thing that you're doing once the world starts going back to normal?
the first thing I want to do is go to the pub.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, that's literally. I think that's the first thing I got to do, man. Go to the pub with my friends, and play basketball.
Oh, I love basketball. I'm a big
Yeah, yeah, same.
Giannis fan. Huge Giannis fan.
Really,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm. I used to, I used to support NBA teams, but I've given up because every time I support a team, all the players leave. So I just like
Yeah.
I've
No,
given
I
up.
feel that.
Yeah.
If Giannis goes to the Clippers, I'm gonna be sad. Anyway, enough of basketball talk. Really, thank you so much. And
Yeah,
I can't wait. I hope I catch you on tour soon somewhere. Um,
yeah. Hopefully, I'll be allowed to go on tour soon.
yeah,
We can.
hopefully. But yeah, thank you so much. Have a great evening, and yeah, best of luck with everything. Can't wait to see what you
Thank
put
you.
out. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.